Welcome to the Movies to Watch Before You Die podcast. My name is Gab, and I'm here with my cousin and co-host.
Dylan.
And today we have two very unique situations still. Two things that we have not yet done. Number one, we are talking about a movie that is currently in theaters.
It's the first time I think that we just both happened to see something.
Yeah, which is super exciting. So, now we really have
Super
to dig into the
exciting.
spoilers because we're not talking about a movie that's been on, VHS for 30 years. So, spoilers to come. But number two, we have a new guest on the pod today.
Yes, joining us for a brief part of the pod will be my coworker, my buddy here, Sully Sullivan Burgess.
Hello, Sully.
Howdy, everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
So we're going to keep it brief. We're going to get into what this movie was about, and we're going to have, instead of Gab or I telling you, Sully, you're going to tell us in the shortest, I guess, spoiler-free version, what is Superman 2025 about?
What's this all been about? What am I working toward?
Explain!
As you would a child.
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
I dive at your bottom. I bloody well ought to.
Superman 2025 is the beginning of the Gods and Monsters chapter of the new DCU from James Gunn and Peter Safran. It is the intro of what he is trying to do with the DC movies, which have failed recently in the last, 10 years? You could say, no, more than that, way more than 10 years. It jumps you right into the action of what Superman's been up to, as well as introducing you into this new, fresh DC universe, which is, to me, they've been doing a good job of so far.
So now we're going to give the IMDb version and see what that says. Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent. As the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way, he soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned. So not quite 100% there. You gave more backstory upon like the actual universe than this was just obviously about the movie. Sully, if you want, I'll let you do Gab's favorite part, which is we read the taglines.
That's awesome.
All right, Sully, I'm going to let you take it away.
So the first tagline is "Look up," which is kind of a play on Superman's catchphrase, "Look up in the sky."
That's terrible.
And it begins.
Yeah, it's just the two taglines, which quite frankly, I think they mostly just went with it's Superman. Posters were just the character or the symbol.
I just feel like, how many Superman movies have there been?
So Christopher Reeve did 4 Superman movies. There was Man of Steel. There was Superman Returns with Brandon Routh. And then I guess I wouldn't call them just Superman movies, but Batman v Superman and Justice League.
So that's 4 or 6?
That is 6 for just solo Superman movies. And I guess 8 if I include Batman v Superman and Justice League. 10 if I include Zack Snyder's Justice League and Supergirl. Black Adam I would count.
Okay,
He makes a cameo
so-
in Black Adam. Thank you, Sally.
Okay, so I feel like this whole, we don't need to do taglines because it's Superman argument is kind of dead in the water when this is the 11th installment.
But this is a brand new thing entirely on its own.
Superhero movies do this thing where they're like, I know we've done this a million times, but this time it's different. And it's like, how do they get away with this?
Well, comic books do this thing. Comic books are constantly reinventing and restarting themselves. It's the same concept as the other movie that does it, James Bond. When there's a new James Bond,
I've
we don't
never
go,
seen.
You've never seen any James Bond?
No, but we played GoldenEye a lot when we were growing up.
Yes, that doesn't quite give you the experience of understanding the movie. But do you understand conceptually that there's 5 different actors 5 or 6, 5 different actors who have played James Bond. They're not all the same continuation of movies. It's just still the same general character.
Yeah, it's very like, okay, so forget
Like
what
Michael
you
Keaton
forget.
Batman isn't Christian Bale Batman.
Yeah, but isn't it the same
I've heard that.
Batman? Like it's
Wait, don't say the James Bond theory. That'll just confuse her.
I don't your argument about Batman has me stopped in my tracks because I did think it was the same Batman. It's the same person, right?
It's the same character, but that's not the same timeline.
Stop with the timelines, Dylan. You know I can't handle timelines. I don't. So
Do you get what I'm saying with Batman, right? Sully, do you want to take a stab at explaining how multiple actors play Batman without being the same movies?
So Tim Burton started it with Keaton, and then basically he was starting to get darker with his movies, and then Warner Brothers was starting to be like, well, we can't advertise this, or we can't sell toys with this, McDonald's toys specifically. This is a whole thing. And so we want to take like a little bit of a lighter approach, a little bit of a comic-y approach. So that's when like Val Kilmer started to come in. Christopher Nolan got involved, and he was a big fan of like Batman growing up, and he wanted to just take the idea of Batman and really, really ground it and make it as dark as possible. And basically, while he is playing Bruce Wayne, there is this whole other storyline, this Christopher Nolan trilogy of Batman movies that basically kind of have nothing to do with Batman, but that's what makes it amazing.
You're right. It's its own thing. The same concept as Robin Hood. How many times has an actor played Robin Hood? It's not all the same story, like the same sequel. Errol Flynn didn't do a prequel to the Russell Crowe version of Robin Hood,
or the Taron Egerton version with the crossbow.
Exactly.
Or the sexy fox.
Or the sexy fox, of course.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I suppose. Okay.
This
all
is
right.
its own Superman.
So, okay. Okay, fine. So I have so many more important things to dive into about this. I feel like I feel like it would be doing the listener a disservice to not briefly mention that I went to see this movie only because, so Corey, my fiance, not a Superman fan, right? His mom, who her birthday was yesterday, happy birthday, we love you. She, for her birthday, really wanted to go see Superman. So the two of us were like, oh, okay, fine. So we get tickets to go see Superman, and we're sitting in the movie theater, and the previews come on, and there are all these previews about movies that we've done on the podcast that they're remaking, and I'm texting Dylan like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then finally, he was like, should we just do this movie on the podcast? And I was like, yes. So this movie, all of this to say, I did not see by choice. I was not like super hyped to go see Superman. And so I have a lot of opinions.
So I think what we should do is normally we would say more of what it's about and go into a longer spoiler-filled thing. But because this movie is in theaters, this will be the break for. After this, we're going to get into opinion time. We're going to get into spoilers. This will officially be the end of like, nothing's being spoiled here. Sound good?
Yeah, amen.
In this critic's opinion,
that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion.
So, Sully, as the guest, I'm going to let you go first because I know you're not staying the whole time. I'm going to let you get into your brief opinions on Superman. I know you had your letterbox pulled up for it.
Spoilers?
You can give spoilers now.
Okay.
We've warned them.
Okay, well, overall, I like this movie a lot. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big Superman guy, more of a Batman guy personally. My grandpa loves Superman a lot, but I had a fun time watching this movie, which was kind of like the basis of what Superman should be all about. Like he's not like a fun guy, but he's a fun hero. Like he's someone people look up to. He's not this dark figure, and that's what I liked about David Cornsett's performance as Superman. I thought Nicholas Hoult was amazing as Lex Luthor. I heard he got paid way more, which I totally understand why, because you could feel the hate of his character on screen, and that was really cool. Spoilers. There's this whole thing about what did they call that multiverse river thing when the pocket universe, whatever. So it starts to branch apart into Metropolis, and I whispered to my buddy, this looks like the Upside Down in Stranger Things, and I kind of was like, this is starting to get stuffy. I thought Ultraman was awesome, but again, kind of stuffy at the same time. But there's incredible shots of this film. The part when the building is coming down onto the lady in the car, and then he stops the building, and then the lady drives away, and she's looking from the distance, and you can just kind of see like the color. I just thought James Gunn visually knew how to shoot this movie. I don't know the DOP's name. I meant to write it in my letterbox. I said shout out the DOP.
Same did The Flash, the same director of photography. Yeah,
that's very depressing to hear.
I mean, it just does because you make a bad movie.
Okay,
mean you're bad.
That movie was. I guess I can say that movie was shot well, but that movie's horrible. But I thought this, and my buddy, and I agree with him to this, maybe it was you who said this, it felt like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, like in terms of excitement, like, okay, now we're on to something here. Like this is the beginning of something good. And that's how I felt leaving this movie. Yeah. Was that you who said that?
Dylan, was it you who said that?
I don't remember. I could have. I have said that.
Somebody said like, this feels like Spider-Man 1 with Maguire. I'm like, you know what? That's a very great comparison.
Yeah, I've said that.
Yeah, but the whole thing with the river and the rift and breaking apart, I'm like, stop being Stranger Things, please.
It did look like Stranger Things. I agree with you.
We're definitely going to get more into that. I know. Are you taking off?
Yeah, I guess so.
Thanks, Sully.
I feel like before I address a bunch of the stuff that he said, because he had to jump, I will just say I generally agree with the movie feels a little overstuffed and a little chaotic, but to me, almost in a good way, because I said this on from the Hall of Pods podcasting network, our friend Jordan's podcast, Phantom Optimist. I had actually said that I think the movie, I wish it was almost a little bit longer because it feels like there's a lot in there that I'm like, you could develop more from here. But I would rather be left wanting more than saying, oh, you did too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was what, 2 hours?
2 hours and 6 minutes or so.
It didn't feel like 2 hours.
It felt shorter to you.
Yeah, that's a high
Great.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best thing that you can say about a movie, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, I don't even know where to start. So do you want to piggyback on anything that Sully said before we kind of start afresh?
Yeah, I want to say I think the stuff in the Rift, some of it is the worst, but also it has one of the best moments. Because to me, one of the best moments in the movie, and one of the things that I really didn't expect them to really go far on, and we aren't spoilers, that's the last time I'm saying it, is this character of Malik, who we see save Superman. Lex Luthor kidnaps, brings to him in the Rift, and starts to do Russian roulette, but on the second try, shoots and kills this innocent man like in front of the audience. And I was like, this is Lex Luthor, this is Superman, because Superman is left crying from it, and Lex Luthor kind of dismisses it, which I feel like I call him Lex Luthor because I feel like that's what the comics always said, or not the comics, the cartoon, but they always pronounce it as Luther in the movie. So I feel like I sound stupid saying Luthor, but
I
whatever.
was shocked when they started addressing him as Luther, and I was like, I've only ever heard it as Luthor. And then I realized you're the only person I've ever heard say it.
I'm telling you, the cartoons call him Lex Luthor.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Nicholas Hoult, first of all, such a good actor.
Academy Award nominated, at least I think. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you remember when MTV, I think it was MTV, remade Skins, but like for the US?
Vaguely, I certainly never watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's kind of where he got his start. And then he was in a couple of other things, but nothing that like stuck out to me as like, oh, I know him from this.
Well, I know he was in About a Boy as a little kid, like with Hugh Grant.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Other, I don't think he is Oscar nominated. Then I think he's Golden Globe nominated, but that's besides the point. He did the X-Men movies. He was Beast in the newer X-Men movies, like First Class and Days of Future Past and stuff like that. He was in The Menu. He was in Warm Bodies. Was one of his big coming out things.
Oh,
I feel
that's
like.
what I saw him in. That's the zombie movie, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that in the movie theaters, I think.
he was just in Juror Number Two, that Clint Eastwood movie. He's a very good actor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think he did a really phenomenal job. So I want to start, and if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of take the reins on this because I feel like this is all new to me, and so I want to like explore, you know, how this went.
You take the lead. I'll answer any questions. Keep going.
Thank you. Okay. Admittedly, because Corey is not really a big Superman fan, I kind of went into this thinking like I'm already not really a superhero movie person. I'm probably not going to really give a shit about this. And what I quickly realized was like there is something so charming about him. And I don't know if it's the character or the actor or the way that they chose to portray him, but I kind of felt like Superman was going to be like a nerd and like kind of like a loser. I don't know, like he was going to be like yeah, like the guy in high school where the teacher would forget and he'd be like, "Hey, you forgot to collect the homework." And everybody would be like, "Oh, you fucking asshole." That's how I kind of imagined Superman was going to be.
That feels more like a Peter Parker Spider-Man type of thing where he's like super nerd, whereas Clark Kent is more, you know, down to earth, homegrown Midwest type of guy who, yeah, he's pretty straight laced and straight edged, but he's not a nerd per se. You know what I mean? I don't picture
Yeah.
him as like the bookworm.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily mean nerd in that sense. I just mean like for lack of better term, like a goody two shoes, where it's like
Yeah.
like you can like loosen up a little bit. But what I really loved is that from the beginning, he and Lois Lane were in some kind of relationship.
Yeah. There's no, And I kind of appreciate it because I feel like this is the first movie that really went this way. There's no will they, won't they. There's no is she going to figure out who he is. It's just she knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved that.
Which I already
Which,
said on Jordan's podcast. We're told that they've been together for 3 months, and there's this thing at the beginning that says 300 years ago was the era that metahumans first appear. 30 years ago, an alien from Krypton lands on Earth. 3 years ago, the boy, now fully grown, moves to the city of Metropolis and announces himself as Superman. It skips 3 months ago and goes to 3 days ago. 3 weeks ago, he stopped an invasion in Bravia. 3 days ago, the hammer of Bravia came or something like that. And 3 minutes ago, he loses his first fight. All this to say, I kind of like that title card, even though I felt it went on too long. But then they reveal, I was like, how come there's no 3 months there? And I realized after the fact, oh, 3 months of Clark and Lois being together. That's kind of cute.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Um, Now I will say this, major selling point for me coming into this movie, there is a dog.
Well, the dog is not like just used for the trailers. He's an important part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I looked at Corey before we left our apartment and I said to him, if something bad happens to the dog, I'm walking out.
Did you walk out? Because there are some bad things that happen to the dog. He's okay, of course, but bad things do happen to poor Crypto.
I looked over menacingly and gave the like, I'm not fucking around. You said nothing bad was going to happen to the dog. But I did end up staying for the whole movie.
Okay.
Now, I will say this. Halfway through, Corey's mom, who sat in between us, handed me her popcorn and said, will you hold this for a second? I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then continued to sit in her seat for the rest of the movie. So for half of this movie, I had a half-eaten popcorn on my lap while she just enjoyed herself.
Wait, can I say though? That should be like a line on the poster or the DVD box for this movie because that is a review saying I have to pee and then just saying nope, I watched the whole movie instead.
It truly was miraculous. And I don't blame her because at one point I did think to myself I could pee and I was like I don't want to get up. I got to see what happens. So that was a glowing review, but it was very like Zach Pollock loaded where hey, will you hold this for a second and then walks away.
It's brilliant because I always forget that he used to do that. Hold this for a second and you're holding it until
It's yours
you
now.
realize, yeah.
So I really enjoyed the dog. I think what is really beautiful about this movie is that you don't have to really know a huge portion of the backstory to understand what's happening, but they also don't in turn give you the entire backstory for 45 minutes like you aren't an American citizen. So I think I, as just a person on planet Earth, I understand Superman. I know he's like from another planet. I know he was raised in some, adopted by some like farmers or whatever. I know that he and Lois Lane are together. I know he wears the glasses and people don't know who he is. Like, I just know that from pop culture, like seeping into my permeating the public consciousness. So I enjoyed not having a major backstory, but I also enjoyed that they like kept me in the loop as it went. Does that make sense?
Yes, and honestly, it's the thing I was most worried about because I think coming out of the movie the first time I saw it, because I saw this at the Amazon Prime screenings like the Tuesday before it's actually released. I was so excited, and I'm watching this movie, and I know me as a guy who grew up a huge DC fan. I didn't need any backstory. I know all I need to know, even though Superman's not my number one guy. You know what I mean? I was worried for, people who aren't obsessed with comic book stuff, like particularly yourself, Gab, that you were going to go into this movie and be like, I don't understand what's going on and, hate it. And you make such a good point that we've all know by this point that like, the planet blew up and he got sent to Earth and he lived with people and they made him good and he's a reporter guy and he's with Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that by this point. And I kind of really respect the fact that the two newest versions of Batman, which is the Batman with Robert Pattinson and the newest version of Superman, this just said, the origin. We don't need to show it to you again.
Yeah.
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 I think that's fine.
I thought that was great. They also do a really good job. And again, as somebody who doesn't like really know Superman, maybe I'm just like reading a little into this, but I think the parallels between Lex Luthor and current people in our society were really, really well done.
I think that's more than enough. I think there are that, and obviously the international conflict can be quite the parallel for stuff that's going on today. If you want to
Yeah.
look at it multiple ways, if you want to look at Ukraine, Russia, or Israel, Palestine,
Hmm.
but with Lex Luthor in particular, I don't think he's supposed to be anyone specifically, but he could sort of fit a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Like you could slap a lot of different billionaire names on him, and he works.
Yeah.
I think what I like about him too is he has all these employees who just will follow him to the ends of the earth, literally to the ends of the earth, because he's about to destroy the world. And they're like, "Let shouldn't we stop?" And he's like, "No." You know what I mean? And they're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah."
Yeah. So I was introduced to some people that I didn't know prior to this, though.
I figure.
The Green Lantern.
Yes, which this is a very specific Green Lantern, Guy Gardner.
I don't know what that means, but I will tell you I keep wanting to call him the Green Goblin. The Green Lantern is not when I close my eyes and picture the Green Lantern, I think of the Hulk. I didn't know they were like,
No, the Hulk is the Hulk.
yeah, apparently. So this guy, and then also the bird woman,
Hawk Girl.
Hawk lady,
Hawk Girl.
Hawk girl, and then also Mr. Terrific, who Dylan, if there is one point that I need to make in this episode, one thing I need to drive home to everyone listening, it is that I'll be damned if Mr. Terrific, whichever actor played him, did not look in the mirror prior to filming and say to himself, I am playing this role as Robert Downey Jr. playing the black guy in Tropic Thunder.
He was giving you Kirk Lazarus from Tropic Thunder.
Oh my God. Down to the looks on his face and the emphasis on his words.
He was the dude playing the dude disguised as the other dude.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I guess I see it. I I think obviously Tropic Thunder being a comedy, there's times where Kirk Lazarus gets more outlandish and pulls up his Australian accent too. But yeah, I kind of see why you say it, just because of the serious stoicism when it's in character.
Yeah, and the one-liners.
Yeah. But you liked
So
Mr. Terrific, I take it that means?
yeah, I did.
Okay. Which
I
you're
really
saying these
did.
characters, did you like these characters? Like Hawkgirl, I kind of feel like there's not much there.
Yeah.
There might be later, you know, Hawkgirl's an important character in comic books, but she was not important to this movie. Just she's a member of the Justice Gang, as they're called. Guy Gardner, how did you feel about? And do you want me to tell you what the Green Lanterns are or no?
If you can make it quick.
I can. The Green Lanterns are the space police. So there are many Green Lanterns, but they're not all the same person.
Okay, and they just make shit that's green.
They have a ring that is powered through their willpower, and they can anything they can imagine, it can create, basically.
Okay, but I thought the rings were the twins.
Are you thinking of like from Super Friends, like Wonder Twin powers activate?
Yeah, with the rings.
Yeah, no, I don't think their rings had anything to do with their powers. I think they were just the Wonder Twins.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the Green Lantern. He was kind of a douche. I thought his haircut was an abomination.
The haircut is straight out of the comic books, and the douchery is straight out of the comic books. Like Guy Gardner is the brash douchebag Green Lantern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I think my favorite character has to be the dog.
Yeah, Crypto.
Yeah, I also liked the robots.
Superman robots, and by the end, we know him as Gary.
Yeah, I thought that was sweet.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about? I know you and I discussed an actor that we haven't talked about yet, Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho.
So, holy shit. First of all, that has made me really want to rewatch Barry. When was the last time you watched Barry?
Probably not since it actually ended.
I've never seen the continuation.
It gets dark. It
I
becomes
know,
a much less funny show by the end.
I think that's what you told me. I think you told me that. I would like to see it. Corey also only ever watched the first season, so I'm like, we should do it again because god damn it, NoHo Hank is a fucking gem.
Every time I feel bad because I wish I knew more NoHo Hank quotes, because all I think of is him going, one babka, two babka.
I love that character. I wish I remembered more for the same reason. But I didn't know it was him because I didn't realize that he wasn't Chechen.
Yeah. And oh my God, you just made me think of him with the other Chechen guy. Maybe you haven't seen this when he goes, Better, you have to help me. My guy suck balls. And the random Chechen guy goes, if I suck balls, you are king of suck balls mountain.
Yes.
It's, that show, 2 seasons of it, hilarious and somewhat serious. 2 seasons of it, darkly serious and a little
Oh
funny.
God. Is NoHo Hank in all of them?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's enough for me to watch. I thought he was so good. I didn't really understand the character, and I was kind of like, is this the Thing? Isn't there a guy called the Thing?
The Thing is a Marvel hero in the Fantastic Four. Metamorpho, they sort of allude to his backstory because we see his girlfriend slash wife, whatever she is in this, and his baby's name is Joey, which the baby I found hideous, but that's besides the point.
Same, yeah.
They show in the background of a building Stag Industries. Stag Industries is his wife, girlfriend's father is Simon Stagg, who caused the accident that turned him into Metamorpho, yada, yada, yada. That's one thing where I was like, is him not having any backstory going to affect people? Like, are you going to be like, the movie was ruined for me because I don't really get Metamorpho's deal? But it doesn't seem like it really, until we're having a deeper discussion about it now, that you're like cared about that. But basically, all you need to know is he has the power to transform himself into anything that he can understand the elemental combination of, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I get it. He was like kryptonite, and that's Superman's. I almost said that's his kryptonite. I guess that's where that expression comes
Well,
from.
they literally had that joke in the movie, too. His
Eh,
weakness, that kryptonite, what do you call it? And he goes, it's called kryptonite.
Yeah. It's funny how again, like Superman has just permeated the cultural like atmosphere that we all just know what a kryptonite is, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so there's a moment in the movie where Superman has rescued the baby and the dog, and he's like holding them both up over the lava or whatever it is, and I
Yes.
was like, my ovaries can't handle this.
What? I'm going to need you to say more. What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Like you were so into Superman?
I was just like, there's a handsome, buffed man saving a baby and a dog, and I'm supposed to just sit here like everything is fine?
Wow. Not the reaction I expected, but okay.
Yeah, my future mother-in-law is sitting in the middle between me and my future husband, and she's like, here, hold this popcorn. And I'm like looking over like,
Did you start to notch on the popcorn? You're like, yeah. You're
no,
like, I'm getting into this movie.
no, she put so much fucking butter on the popcorn. I was like, this is more butter than it is popcorn.
That's what it's for. Okay.
No. But yeah, I love that actor. I think he was great. I don't think the role was like anything to write home about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy that he got it. I hope he gets more. He's such an interesting looking fellow. What has he
But
got? Alopecia?
who? David Cornsweet?
No,
Oh, Anthony Kerrigan.
Anthony Kerrigan.
Yes, he has alopecia.
Okay.
I was so confused because you went right from talking about Superman
Sorry.
saving them from the river to being like, does he have alopecia? Which
Sorry,
who
he's
calls
got
it
the alopecia. I do.
This is just like
So,
the Tuberks.
no, it was to Burke, singular. And the
Oh, sorry.
alopecia, also singular. So, okay, I want to talk a little bit about something that I struggle with a little bit.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it's not the portals to
The Pocket Universe portals.
the pocket universe. As soon as somebody walked through the portal, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to understand this." But I did. It was fine.
There's no time
Um,
travel there, so it's not that hard.
it's the time travel that gets me, Dill. I just don't understand
There
how
is
we're
no time
supposed to
travel.
know. I know. I'm happy with that.
Good.
Alternate universes confuse me a little bit too, but it's neither here nor there. So this movie, I'm curious your thought or expertise on how much acting there really is to do when so much of the movie is CGI.
It's a good question. I think if you look at some of the behind the scenes footage, the Fortress of Solitude is pretty much all real. Like they built actual sets for it. Most of the sets are fully real. Even in times where Superman is on the rig flying, they have, I'm trying to remember what it's called now. The thing they use on the Mandalorian, they use it on the Batman, where they have like basically a wall of screens so that they can be showing something. So they're never, the only time I know of that they're acting to straight nothing is quite frankly with Crypto. I know that Superman was using like a tennis ball at times. You know what I mean? For Crypto's going to be here for this. But I think for the most part, there's a lot of genuine interaction, which makes it easy to act. Like you have a great scene with Clark and Lois and debating the ethics of if he should have interrupted the Baravian Jarhanpur combat or the war or the attack, I guess I should call it. And you just get a back and forth conversation between them. It's not about punch, punch, kill, kill, as my grandma would say, shoot, shoot, kill, kill. It's just dialogue. And you get the same thing too when Clark is trapped in the pocket universe, Superman's trapped, and Lex comes over and is sort of just ranting at him that he's like, I can't kill you yet, though I'd love to. And you get, honestly, even during the fights, when Superman is fighting Ultraman, you get Lex being able to talk through his chest so that he can basically just say, I hate you so much. And he's like, because, and it really, I think Sully was sort of alluding to it. And again, it's something I said on Jordan's podcast. This feels so authentic to what Lex Luthor should be to me, because he really is. He sees himself as the best natural human in the world. And I think he can understand that there are metahumans who you fell into a vat of chemicals and it did something to you or whatever. He still thinks he's the best human that there is. And the moment that this guy shows up, who just through being born on another planet is better than him in every way to people, that people don't care about him anymore, that he is not the envy of the world, he hates it so much and it just burns him.
So I want to talk a little bit about his hatred of metahumans, because I was a little bit confused as to how he was openly talking about how much he hates them, but he also like employs them.
Because he doesn't hate metahumans in general. Like a good example is the engineer. He created her. You know what I mean? Ultraman, he created him. Metahumans he's fine with because there is the human element and they are still human. And he can have an influence over them. He could have made them. He can control. He still sees himself as being greater than. Superman specifically chides him because Superman is more powerful than them. Superman is better than them. Superman is better than any human. He is aspirational. He is for us to look up to. And he hates that because he thinks humans should look up to him, his brilliance, his inner strength, his sometimes physical strength. Sometimes in the comic books, he will be showing off how muscular he is for a person. It'll be like, there's a moment in the comic All-Star Superman where Clark Kent is interviewing Lex Luthor and he's having him feel his muscles and going, look at that. That's all natural. That's real. That's human. I wasn't just born and the sun makes me this way.
Yeah, that's how we feel about athletes that are on steroids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your feelings on the message from Superman's parents.
Now, I'm fine with it because I think one of the things that's always very important about Superman is the fact that he has two sets of parents. Batman is dark. He is messed up. He grew up without.
He has no parents.
Superman took all the parents. No,
he's got double the parents.
Yes. Well, 2 times 0 is still 0. So no, he has 4 more parents. So Batman is dark. Batman is withdrawn. He has pseudo family figures like Alfred, but he has no real family. Meanwhile, Superman has 2 sets of loving parents. You know what I mean? Now, the big change in this is the fact that it turns out for real that his Kryptonian parents, Jor-El and Lara, were like, listen, fuck bitches, get money, take over, do your thing. And I think what I really like about that is it's before Clark really understands how much both sets of his parents have mattered. That we see in the beginning, they play the soothing part of the first part of the message for him from Jor-El and Lara, and it's supposed to be this feeling to him of, soothing, that he was sent here for this purpose, that he was destined for this almost. And by the end, we sort of realize that it's not just the nature of it, because the nature was, you've been sent, you will breed with your Kryptonian DNA, you will have a secret harem, hashtag super shit and secret harem and all that, and you will take over the world. And that's not what he was nurtured to be by Ma Kent and Pa Kent, who made him into this naturally good person who wants to do good, who wants to make sure nobody gets hurt. Superman is always described as, well, not always, but I've heard him described as he's the fire department, not the police. He's just there to keep you safe. You know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So when they not reveal, but when you first see the message from his birth parents and it's Bradley Cooper, thoughts on this?
It makes sense to me because the 1970s version of Jor-El was Gene Hackman. No, it wasn't. That was Lex Luthor. The 1970s version of Jor-El was Marlon Brando. So it was a huge deal. It was a big get. I think he got paid more money than anybody else who was in the movie to be there, even though he wanted to at times be. He was like, "Can't Jor-El be a bagel? And I don't even have to be on set." I've told you that before.
Did he say that?
Yeah, so they're like, no. Like, literally, I think Christopher Reeve had to have a cue card taped to him with Jor-El's lines.
Oh my God.
Christopher Reeve, there's a great interview clip of him being like, no, Marlon Brando's an ass. Like, he was like, this guy was terrible. We should be looking up to him, and instead he's a lazy bastard. But
That is amazing.
I think they wanted to, and James Gunn wanted to get somebody who was a big, Academy Award type name. And Bradley Cooper is one of the biggest actors working today, and he happens to have been in all three of James Gunn's Guardians movies as Rocket Raccoon. So felt like a natural blend.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I originally, because people in the movie theater gasped or whatever, or like clapped, people acknowledged that it was Bradley Cooper. And
Sure.
I thought that the woman playing the mom, I thought it was Lady Gaga. And so I was like, oh my God, like A Star is Born. I was like, oh, wow. But it wasn't her at all.
I see why you say that though, because to me, I was like, who is that? I feel like I recognize her, but I don't know from what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not from Lady Gaga, I can tell you that.
She is not Lady Gaga.
Not Lady Gaga, unfortunately. What was the other
Did
thing I
you
wanted to
care at
say?
all about the fact that his natural parents wanted him to be a conqueror? I'm sure you weren't upset by it. You know what I mean? I didn't jive with it at all. I kind of like the idea that it didn't matter in the long run. Obviously, it gave him this crisis of identity, but the whole point is his identity is not just the message he was sent with.
In retrospect, I actually really like it. And I think it also kind of eliminated the part of Superman that I was worried about, which is like this fucking guy is perfect and can do no wrong and like whatever. And like that gets a little old. Like I enjoy, not that I'm an expert, but I enjoy that Batman is like he wants to do the right thing and save people, but he's also like kind of a dipshit. You know what I mean? Like, and like Spider-Man, like all the iterations of Spider-Man in the cartoon thing that we watched in the, I want to say Across the Universe.
Across the Spider-Verse and into the
Across the
Spider-Verse.
Spider, yeah, into the Spider-Verse or whatever. He's there's like Peter P. Parker, who's like kind of a putz, and then there's Peter Parker, and then there's all these other Spider-Man, like whatever. I don't fully get it, but like I can see that they're like not perfect, and I feel
Yeah.
like Superman is the one who's like, no, I'm perfect. So I enjoyed that it gave him like a little bit of a turn from the stereotypical like, oh, Superman, you're so great. But I think during the movie, I wasn't totally clear on whether or not it was true or if it was something that Lex Luthor made up.
I think that's so funny because I feel like I've heard people say that too. And the movie goes to great lengths to first the movie says it. Then we hear the guys in the government say that it's been confirmed. Then we hear Mr. Terrific say, those guys in the government won't lie. If they've confirmed it, they've confirmed it. Then, just to be like, hitting you over the head with it, the president of Moravia says to Lex, like, great job of manipulating that message. And Lex is like, actually, I was hoping to find some dirt on him. Who would have thought it would have been his parents that would have given it to me? You know what I mean? Like, it is
That's
real.
when I knew. Right.
Yeah.
That's when I knew. But I feel like, Dylan, in the world of AI, you can never be sure. You know? It could have been a deep fake.
That would have been the first thing. You would have seen like somebody asking Grok, like, is Superman bad? Like,
Yeah. But no, I liked it. I liked that they gave him a little bit of depth. And I'll say this too. There are moments where Superman says or does things that I am like, oh, I love this character. And oddly enough, I love him for all the reasons I thought I was going to hate him. So, for example, when they release the little gremlin guy and it grows into like the really big gremlin
yeah.
and he has to work with the Justice Gang to like shut him down. And afterwards, they like blow him up from the inside, right? And Superman looks at the Green Lantern and he's like, dude, I thought we could like study him or like bring him to an intergalactic zoo or
Mhm.
something. Like he is so merciful that he didn't want to kill this thing. He just wanted to like get it out of there, right? And there's another moment where he saves a squirrel because
I
the
was going to
squirrel is
ask,
about to get squished.
you
And
like
I
him
was
saving the
just like,
squirrel?
I love this. And I love when he marches his fucking ass right into Luthor's office and is like, "Where is the dog?"
And that feels like a very human moment to me because that is the moment to get pissed, man. Especially
Yeah.
when we find out it's technically not even his dog. Yeah.
But God damn it, he loves that dog. And I was
Well,
like, okay,
I want to interrupt you because there's one other line with the dog I want to say because it goes back to him being so, I need to save him. It's he and Lois are having that conversation and he's going to turn himself in to save Crypto or to hope that he can save Crypto. And Lois says, it's just a dog. And do you remember what Superman says? He goes, and not even a very good one, but he's scared and he's alone and maybe they'll take me where he is.
oh, I just love it so much.
I felt good
Like,
about the fact that you see where he is and it's like, okay, well, he just thinks he's chasing super squirrels, at least in the sky.
me too. Yeah, I felt better
Yeah.
about that. I was like, I'm sure he's tired, but at least he's having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I was a little distrustful of Morphine,
Metamorpho?
Metamorpho,
Yes.
when he was like, all of a sudden he was like willing to play ball about getting his son, but it turns out he was fine. And I think another thing that I really appreciated was that Lois Lane wasn't a fucking damsel in distress.
No, and she, she's helpful. She breaks the story about Lex along with Jimmy. Like
Yeah.
it did a good job of making the people from the Daily Planet feel somewhat useful because often, comic book movies, the end is going to be some kind of big action. It's very easy to throw those characters to the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do a good job keeping them in the action. And Metamorpho, I do feel like the only reason I didn't think he was going to turn is because I know he's a hero from the comics. And the fact that you see it get to him when Malik gets shot in front of him, too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was definitely like, oh, okay, this guy has like humanity in him.
Yes.
And in the beginning, it seems like he's just some
Hired
like
goon.
yeah, 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 like one of the other two. So, Beck Bennett, huh?
Did you like him? Because both times I saw this movie, I feel like the audience gave huge reactions to lines like, "Where's my chair?" And I can't remember what else he says, but people loved him as Steve Lombard.
I think I was more happy for Beck Bennett than I really gave a shit about that character because
Okay.
he wasn't meaningful, right?
No. And that's the thing. A lot of these, the comic has existed since 1938, I want to say. So that's a lot of time to build up characters. So, yes, characters like Cat Grant and Steve Lombard have done things in the comic books, but they're not major characters in the sense of common storylines. So it
Yeah.
feels more like it's nice to have them there and maybe they can lead to something, but they're, Jimmy Olsen is already like secondary Daily Planet character and he's Superman's
Yeah.
pal. So obviously once you're getting to like Cat Grant and Steve Lombard, they're not as big a deal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could have, I didn't care, but I think Beck Bennett is very funny and I was happy for him.
Yeah.
I think the Lex Luthor's girlfriend taking the selfies was brilliant.
Yes, because it really did seem like it was just like, oh, they're making Eve Tessmacher this airheaded character. And I really did not expect her to be clever enough or to expect the movie to be clever enough that sort of is the twist that like we've seen her gather evidence the whole time just in case.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was awesome. I loved that. I'd never get offended by dumb female characters. I think they're a trope. They're necessary sometimes. We see it with men. It just people are less offended by it. But I love that in a superhero movie geared toward male viewership, that the female characters, for the most part, are strong and smart.
I mean, Lois Lane is definitely the morally, not morally, the intellectually stronger of her and Superman.
Yeah,
Superman obviously figures out how to win the fight, but Lois Lane is the investigator. She is the Pulitzer Prize winner. Clark is more of the, yeah, I'm interviewing myself, which I do kind of
yeah,
like that. He's like, well, yes, of course who's going to interview me, other
yeah,
than me.
yeah. I liked it. And then finally, I think obviously we would be doing the movie a disservice to not address the final conversation where Superman says to Lex Luthor, like, I am human. Like, I get afraid. I don't know what to do. I blah, blah, blah. And I just thought that was beautiful.
I love when he said, I, ba, ba, ba.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's almost a little too blunt with like, this is the message of the movie that I'm a person just like anyone else and I do my best. And I do love the end of that though, where he says to Lex, and I hope you realize that, being a human is your greatest strength too. because there's a lot of good you could do for the world type of thing.
Yeah.
And the way they just show Nicholas Hoult turn with the most hatred I've ever seen, like, oh, I'm still gonna kill you somehow. You know what I mean? Because that is the everlasting battle of these two characters. That if Lex Luthor wanted to be a good guy, he is brilliant. He is one of the smartest people in the entire universe. He could do so much for humanity. Instead, it's all to fuel himself. Like Mr. Terrific talks about, like, this is the junk science that Lex Luthor will do because he can do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? And I just like that contrasting morality of what's more important, yourself or everyone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And obviously it's not always one or the other, but you have to help the whole to help yourself.
Yeah. I also really appreciated that Hawk girl
Yes.
was like, "Oh no, I'm going to kill you."
Yeah, I did not expect that moment where they're like, you know, the very comically evil leader of Moravia says, like, you will not hurt me, you're soft like Superman. And she just hits him with, I'm not Superman. And they don't show the man hit the ground, but they tell you he hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so into it. I was like, "Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Kill him."
Did you like the fact that, because I know some people are like, well, Superman didn't save the people in Jarhanpur, but the point is he has been the influence to the other heroes that, you know, Guy before says, I have a vow not to go into politics, which that's not what the Green Lantern vow is about, certainly. But by the end, the Justice Gang says, we have to do something about this. And he inspires them to go and help the people.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
love
I
the
thought that
fact
was
that they
fine.
show up. And I love Guy Gardner's line because it's a very Guy Gardner line of Superman couldn't make a kid, so you got an upgrade. And I'm like, that's so Guy.
I did really appreciate that. I thought that was funny. I was happy. I felt satisfied with that. I felt like, you know, part of again, what the fuck do I know, right? But I would imagine that part of being Superman is delegating, right? Like
Mhm.
Superman can't be everywhere at once, and so he has to have other friends that can help him out and do the right thing.
His super
So I
friends,
that's what they're called, right?
they're called the Justice League, but that the 80s cartoon was the Super Friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
does Justice Gang turn into Justice League? Are they in the Justice League?
So Guy Gardner has been in the Justice League. Hawkgirl has been in the Justice League. Mr. Terrific has been like a more extra member of the Justice League, but he's been there. But Green Lantern is normally a main member, either Hal Jordan or John Stewart. But I assume the Justice Gang is the seedlings for what will become the Justice League at some point.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I had no issue with that. And I really liked at the end when he and Lois Lane have a little privacy and he is as Superman and they start making out. I thought that was nice.
It's a nice shot too of them like floating up into the air as they kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. Yeah, I will say I did see a still image of Superman and the Enforcer.
Ultraman,
No, the girl,
the engineer.
the engineer, like on a football field, and the guy who played Superman, who I thought did a phenomenal job,
Mhm.
is nowhere near as buff as they CGI'd him to be. He's a skinny little guy.
He's actually, I don't know what image you saw. He's pretty buff, but the suit makes him look less buff, I feel like, than he actually is.
Oh, I have to find the image that I saw. Superman and the engineer football field. Let's see if I can find it.
I'm showing Gab a picture of David Corden sweat in the gym, getting swole.
I feel, oh, this is interesting how they shot this.
I feel like I know. Are you talking about the picture where like it's a fun picture of him like making a face as they're?
Yeah.
I know the picture you're talking about.
I thought he looked like a frail little string bean man.
Gab was like, I could destroy him.
I could.
I think I can find it. I think James Gunn is the one who posted it, but yes, I found it. Oh, that's. I don't know how I did
That's
that.
Yeah, look at how skinny he is.
Gab, I feel like you're going to find this hard to believe. I think it's also the lens that's being used to take this photo. I think.
Is that just what you want me to think?
No, I think it's a very wide angle lens, which is making him look slightly further away. But
Okay.
I think he's also just being silly here. It's not like he's flexing on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But the
yeah, but look
suit
at
is
his
a little bit.
legs.
Yeah, you know what? I do see why you say it. I think the suit is actually a little like baggier. Like normally, I
Mm,
feel like superhero suits and Superman suits have been very skin tight. Like Christopher Reeve was not jacked out of his mind. He was in very good shape for 1978, and that suit
mhm.
is skin tight. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Henry
yeah,
Cavill, the suit is skin tight, and I kind of like the fact that this looks like something a human being could actually wear and breathe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought it looked really good. It, I thought he looked great. He was exactly as jacked as he should have been. I just was concerned. And that's why I asked you, like, how much acting is there really when it's all CGI? Because I was like, well, if they just CGI'd muscles onto him throughout the entire movie, is he even wearing the suit? Is he even there? Did they hire him? Is he just a bagel?
He is wearing the suit. He is not a bagel. I think they CGI the cape sometimes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing for me that was missing from this movie was they left out the part where Superman gets kicked off a horse.
What?
Superman gets kicked off a horse and then breaks his back, right? Isn't that how it goes?
Oh my God, Gab. Oh my
No, I
God,
know,
you're a
I know, I
monster.
know, I know. It's just a joke that wasn't funny.
Oh,
You
you're
didn't think that was
awful.
funny?
He was paralyzed for the rest of his life, Gab.
I know, but he lived a pretty long life after that, no?
Not as long as he would have had it not happened. There's
Really?
actually a really fantastic documentary called Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, and that's on Max. I would highly recommend watching it. I know you're not
Interesting.
going to, but if you're listening to this, you should watch it. It made me
I might.
cry.
Well, it doesn't take much these days.
No, it doesn't. Is that how
Uh,
you want to make me feel, Gab?
did you cry in this movie?
I didn't. I didn't cry from it. I think there's a lot of really nice moments. Like the closest I came to crying was probably the scene between Clark and Pa Kent when he is just telling him, your actions is what makes you who you are in the slowest possible way. But he's saying that to
Yeah.
him. And Clark and him just have that embrace, that moment of obvious love for each other.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. You're talking about how much acting is there. And I feel like I got so much just from the two of them looking at each other in that scene.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay. I think that's all I really have. There's nothing else that you want to toss in.
I feel like I've said a good amount. I feel like I've said all I want to say. I'm really hopeful that this does well, that they make more, because this feels like it's going in the direction of the DC stuff I loved as a kid. So I think I'm good to get to the facts if you are.
Yeah, my only question is, should I watch these Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
If you liked this, I would think you would like other James Gunn movies. So I would check out Guardians of the Galaxy,
Okay. Okay.
which is on
Thank you.
Disney Plus and Hulu.
Okay. I have both of those.
I want the truth!
Face the facts, ducks.
Facts have no place with an organized religion.
Into the facts now. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 84% with 370 fresh reviews and 73 rotten. An audience score of 92% with an average score of 4.5 out of 5. IMDb, it has a 7.6 out of 10. It had a budget of $225 million. It has grossed $416 million as of the day we are recording this, July 23rd. The critics' consensus: pulling off the heroic feat of fleshing out a dynamic new world while putting its champions' big, beating heart front and center, this Superman flies high as a man of tomorrow, grounded in the here and now. Some reviews: Richard Roper from RogerEbert.com gave it 2.5 stars. This latest version makes for enjoyable enough popcorn entertainment, but ultimately leaves us wondering, was it even necessary? I know. I feel like I made the same face of, how could you?
Yeah.
David Ehrlich from IndieWire: it's hard to make a comic book come to life at the same time as you're trying to bring life into a comic book. But it's even harder to care if a man can fly when there isn't any gravity to the world around him.
I'm sorry. What?
Right? Matt Singer from Screen Crush: a super breath of fresh air for DC Comics and for superhero movies in general. And last review, William Bibbiani from The Wrap: James Gunn tried to make a great Superman movie, one that embraces that wonder of the character as an action hero and a moral paragon, which derives its drama from how people react to his faith in us. He succeeded.
Aw.
Do you want to hear some Letterboxd reviews?
Oh my God, do I?
Neo Rap: he's bald and he's torturing people who have hair.
They all do, don't they?
I love that one so much. Demi Juwibe. Demi Juwibe. Oh, so I'm a bad guy for sending my baby away and telling him to fuck like crazy? Okay. Yeah, I'm evil because my wife and I used her dying breath to tell our infant child he got a nut and some Earth girls. I was panicked because our planet was being destroyed. But okay. Guess you never misspoke under pressure, though. Guess you're fucking message maker of the year, huh? You smash on that big red button and ain't one thought of Kryptonian baby come ever run through your head because you're so perfect. I'm fucking sick of cancel culture.
Oh my God, that is insane.
Long but phenomenal. Patrick Willems. My big problem is I love everything in it so much that it needs to be an hour longer so I can get more. More Daily Planet, more Clark and Lois. It's overstuffed, but I'm not mad because everything there is good.
Okay.
Last letterbox from Zoe Rose Bryant. The concept of a parent having to explain what a harem is to their child after watching this.
That is funny.
Is directed by James Gunn, who also directed the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, The Suicide Squad, and Slither. The movie is written by James Gunn, who also wrote the live-action Scooby-Doo, the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, Super, and Peacemaker, based on the characters by Siegel and Schuster. Starring David Cornsweet as Clark Kent, Superman, who you may know from Pearl and Twisters, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, who you might know from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and House of Cards, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, who you might know from Mad Max Fury Road and as Beast in the new X-Men movies, Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen, who you might know from The Righteous Gemstones and Booksmart, Nathan Fillion as Guy Garner, who you might know from Castle, Firefly, or The Rookie, Eddie Gathegi as goddamn Mr. Terrific, who you may know as Darwin from X-Men Days of Future Past and For All Mankind. I'm going to stop saying what you might know them from. It's too many characters. If you want to know, you can look them up. Isabel Merced as Hawkgirl, Anthony Kerrigan, who we talked about from Barry as Metamorpho.
Noho Hank.
Also starring Maria Gabriela de Faria as the engineer, Sarah Sampaio as Eve Tessmacher, Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, Angela Serafian as Lara L, Alan Tudyk as Superman Robot 4, Gary, and lastly and most importantly, Dinesh Thagarian as Malik Ali. R.I.P. Hero.
R.I.P. I loved when he was like, Superman, don't tell him anything. I don't have a family.
I've heard people say that. They're like, he was just willing to make the sacrifice. He clarified for us.
It was so nice. It was so much better than if he was like, no, please, I have kids. That would have been horrible. But I feel like Superman would have been like,
upset either way.
Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he would have like taken care of that. You know what I mean?
It is such a cold-blooded, evil moment, though. The way that Lex shoots him and it just moves on. Like, he's just like, thought that would last longer. Do you want some fun facts?
I do.
So James Gunn has said that between 200 and 300 people auditioned for the role of Superman.
Wow.
Nathan Fillion, who plays Guy Gardner, insisted that his character sport the same bowl cut he does in the comics.
Insane.
The return of Superman's iconic outside underpants was requested by David Cornsweet, who justified it to James Gunn, which James Gunn could not come up with a real justification for it. But Cornsweet said, I'm an alien from outer space who can fly and lift buildings, and I shoot laser beams out of my eyes that can dissolve things. He wants kids to not be afraid of him and be approachable. So what's he going to wear? He's going to dress kind of like a wrestler that they would see on TV.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Are there other Supermans that don't have the underwear on the outside?
So the most recent before Cornsweet was Henry Cavill as Superman and Man of Steel and Justice League. Did not have the red trunks.
Interesting.
So did you notice the character Otis, who's like the henchman for Superman, who was sort of the leader of his employees?
The robot?
The robot? No, Otis. He was the leader of not Superman, Lex Luthor's employees in Luthor Corp.
Oh, I guess so.
So the full character's name is Otis Berg, and he is a reference to Otisburg, which in the 1978 Superman, Gene Hackman is going to try and break off California from the San Andreas Fault Line and take the real estate. It's a real estate scheme. And his henchman, Otis, wants to create his own little place called Otisburg. So that character name is a playful nod to Otisburg. The character was played by Ned Beatty in the 1978 movie.
That's funny.
Crypto was based on James Gunn's rescue dog, Ozu, whose likeness was used as the inspiration and the basis for the 3D model, according to Gunn. Ozu was 3D scanned and then digitally altered by just making all of his fur white to resemble Crypto.
Cute. Whose dog is it, really?
In this movie, it's Supergirl's dog.
And that's his cousin?
Yes, Supergirl Kara is his cousin.
So like me and you.
Yes, except only one of us has super strength.
Oh, that was nice.
The Hall of Justice exterior was shot at the Cincinnati Union Terminal, which was actually used as the model for the Hall of Justice in the Super Friends cartoon. That's the end of that one.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Super Friends. Super Friends. The guy with the voice like
okay.
that. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay.
Eddie Gathegi was portraying the movie adaptation of Michael Holt's Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific is a brilliant superhero known for his intellect and ingenuity. He is most famously a genius with 14 PhDs and a mastery of various fields, including physics and engineering. He uses advanced technology, including his T-spheres, which are floating multifunctional devices for combat analysis and hacking. It is the first time he has been played in a movie.
Interesting. Mr. Terrific, isn't that what they call the guy on Shark Tank?
No, that's
No, that's
Mr.
Mr.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay.
Nicholas Hoult, before being cast as Lex Luthor, auditioned for Superman.
Yikes. They were like, listen, no to the muscles, but yes to the bald.
I've heard Nicholas Hoult say that he auditioned for Superman and then he saw David Corenswet literally sitting in the sun as he left, and he was like, this guy's a little bit better looking than me. This guy's a little bit taller than me. This guy sounds a little bit more like Superman than me. And he was like, damn it.
Now, isn't David Cornsweet like, first of all, what an unfortunate last name.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Corn sweat. Yeah. But it's interesting that he's like a nobody, right?
This is definitely his biggest role. So the only things he was in before this really were Twisters and Pearl that were of note.
Okay.
He is also the first actual actor who is Jewish to portray Superman, who was created by two Jews.
He's a Jew?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's a mensch.
That's delightful. Okay, I love that. I feel a little bit like he reminded me of, this is so obscure, but stay with me, the lead singer of the All American Rejects.
Yes, I totally see it.
Okay, thank you.
Now should we move along?
Yes,
hey,
good job.
Look at
good
me.
job.
In the comics, Ultraman is an evil alternate universe alternate universe version of Kal-El. In the film, he was made by Lex Luthor as a clone. Which the clone? Do you know who is normally the clone of Superman?
No.
Have you ever heard of Bizarro?
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's a failed clone of Superman who talks dumber and he says things like "Me am Superman." Like, yeah. Like I really hope
that is so funny.
I would kind of love to see him come back kind of dumber and being like, "Me am Superman, me fight evil." Like,
that is so funny.
Yeah.
Is that where the SpongeBob thing comes from?
Like the Doodle Bob?
Doodle Bob, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's a direct relation.
It's gotta be. By the way, when Superman's clone is fighting him, I thought to myself, this looks like he's fighting the Lord of the Rings guy.
What Lord of the Rings guy?
I don't know, the fucking guy. He had like long hair and he was very dark, and I was like, it looks like Dylan. I don't know. I said I don't know.
I don't know that
he
well
looks
either.
like the Lord of the Rings guy. Google.
Yeah, there's
Lord
a lot
of,
of
the
people
Rings
in those
guy.
goddamn movies. They're
Google,
like 14 hours.
I'm Googling Lord of the Rings guy, and let's see what comes up. Lord of the
You can't
Rings
mean Ian McKellen.
guy.
Gandalf?
No,
Sam?
no, Dylan the guy.
Frodo Baggins?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, really? Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood.
North?
Elijah Wood.
Do you
He
not
looked like
remember
him.
North from the movie North?
I didn't see that.
Yes, you did. We did it on the podcast, Gab. North? The little boy who wants to find a new set of parents?
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
I said it was a movie to
yeah,
watch before you die, Gab.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. I forgot about that one.
All right.
It was great. I enjoyed it.
I'm going to skip some of these other fun facts. The last one I'll say is there was a reporter during the fight downtown with the giant monster. The reporter is played by now ABC News correspondent Will Reeve, the youngest child of former Superman Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. So nice.
I thought that was nice.
He's an ABC reporter?
Yeah, for ABC News.
Good for him. What locale?
I don't know. Nationally?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a big deal.
That's very cool. Yeah. Okay. I'm satisfied.
As am I. So,
Speaking of super,
how about some super mail?
yeah. I mean, if you just the possibilities are endless, Dylan. Just fucking spit it out.
How about Clark can't wait for the mail? Oh my god. All right, Gab. I really don't have.
Oh, this is what we're going with.
Yeah, no, we're sticking with it.
All right.
Mail time! When you control the mail, you control information.
Mom asked me to ask you if there's any mail for us here by mistake.
What?
I really don't have much here. First, a comment on our previous episode, The Changeling, from a comment from Legacy Odinson. What's that, Lassie? Joseph Carmichael got fucking murdered, drowned in the well? That's so glad we did that. And then we had opened ourselves up to, you could send us in something if you thought we were wrong about a
If
previous
this is
movie.
Kyle Naranya, I'm leaving.
Oh, Kyle sent in subject Canadian court. I will now play the audio. It is not a movie that he was on for.
Okay, good.
Let me know if you can't hear it, okay?
Okay.
Welcome to the first edition of Canadian Court. The first arguments have been brought to the podium, and that is of Birdcage. Gab, Dylan, I've heard your arguments, and here I am going to be the deciding factor, or maybe not. It depends if you want to do this or not. The Birdcage is a really interesting film. Mike Nichols, as a director, has made a substantial amount of incredible films, but context for release should be taken into consideration when evaluating a film. Yes, of course, you're looking specifically at what that movie presents, but Robin Williams and Nathan Lane as a gay couple in 1996, and at the time, Nathan Lane was not public with his sexuality, and having somebody like Robin Williams take the brunt of the conversation around that idea and the dynamics between the three of them, as well as performances from people like Gene Hackman and Hank Azaria, this is a movie to watch before you die, and I'm kind of baffled that it didn't make the list.
Yes! Kyle, you're back, baby!
Well, Gab, do we think that the Birdcage should be added? Does that make us rethink what we said?
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't make me rethink anything, you fucking walking pile of dog shit, because I know it's one of the best movies of all time. So what you need to do is rewatch the goddamn thing and make sure that before you hit play, you take that stick out of your ass and watch it again, and you tell me that you're the fucking asshole.
I feel like it would be so funny if I just go, nah. But you know what? What would Superman say, who believes that kindness is the new punk rock? He would say, you know what? We've said for too long that the Birdcage should be a movie to watch before you die.
No, because you need to watch it before you say that. I want you to eat your fucking words.
I'm never going to be like, I was a fool.
Yes, you are.
Gab, do you want me to agree with you or not? Because I'm trying to give it to you and you won't let me.
Here's the thing. And this is,
I promise you, I will also rewatch it. Okay.
Okay. Because Corey hasn't seen it and he's like, I have to watch this movie. And I'm like, you have to watch this movie. So if we all agree to just watch it and then we can just have a quick little like aside.
We're not going to record another episode for it. It's a movie to watch before you die. We should watch it together.
We should.
Should we get back to Superman now?
Oh, it's so heartwarming. Yeah.
Superman or the Birdcage?
Both, you idiot. You fucking, you don't understand how words work.
Oh, that wasn't heartwarming. Back to the episode.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The guilty will be punished.
Sentence is death.
Gab, I don't know which one of us should go first. I guess I should go first since I feel like I'm the more obvious as the guy who grew up DC.
Yeah.
I was primed for this movie. I was going to it almost no matter what. And I did. I did love it, Gab. I got to tell you, I think this movie to watch before you die. And it gives me such high hopes. I keep telling people, I'm like, please go see it so I can get more of this. Please, please, please. If this does well, I'm like, we're getting closer and closer to like I could see from the comic books Batman knocking out Guy Gardner in one punch. I could see that happen. It could happen finally. I could see a good version of Justice League, one that I like. Please do that. Please go see this movie because I've already seen it twice and I'm going to see it again because I want them to make more of this. Gab, what did you think?
I just have one question. When you imagine Batman punching Guy Gardner in the face, are you imagining Robert Pattinson?
No, very important. I am not, because I think
Okay,
Robert
good.
Pattinson needs to stay his own thing, which I think they're going to do that and have another Batman who's in this universe.
Okay, good, because I wouldn't care for that.
Yeah, that guy doesn't
okay.
belong mixed in with this light, colorful, vibrant universe.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I went into this kind of against my will. Corey's mom wanted to see it for her birthday, so we begrudgingly got tickets. I ended up holding her popcorn for half the movie. I didn't get to sit next to my fiance and like hold his hand when Superman and Lois Lane were making out. It was a very, um, it was like a very classic movie going experience for me because there was no whispering or making commentary or like whatever. It was me and the movie, and I knew we were doing a podcast on it, and I watched it with every ounce of my being, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. It made me fall in love with the character of Superman. It made me want more of them. It had everything that I wanted and then some. It didn't feel, and this is my problem with the goddamn superhero movies. It wasn't 3.5 hours that felt like 5 hours. There was no fake ending because they always do that. You think it's over and then they're like, but he said there's another problem. It's so frustrating. You think you're done and they pull you back in for another 45 minutes to an hour. This didn't do that. It was great. There was a dog. Nothing bad happened to the dog. I loved it. 10 out of 10. I do hope they make more.
Say the words, Gab. This is a
movie to watch before you die. Bitch.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me.
No, definitely not me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I think that's the first superhero movie that's making it onto this list. Superman is a movie to watch before you die. Put it in the books, as Gary
Put
would
it
say.
in the books. Now keep this nice young Jewish boy away from horses.
Oh my God. You went back to that joke, Gab? Dear God.
Keep him, just saying, we gotta keep him safe.
Oh my God. All right. What do we say at the end of this, Gab?
Listen, if you want to tell us your thoughts, your feelings, we don't really care, but we'll take them. You can send it to us at movies2watchbeforeyoudie@gmail.com. You can send us a voice note. You can find our friends at the Hall of Pods podcasting network in the link tree below. You can find in that same link tree things like my Venmo, our merch store, both of our social medias, and lots of other fun little places to go. While you're at it, if there is a movie that you think we mislabeled as either a movie to watch before you die or not a movie to watch before you die, you can let us know. And we're open to any and all movie suggestions.
Kindness is punk rock. Thanks for watching and listening and whatever.
Bye.
So you know about the hypno glasses?
Now she does.
Well, I'm not saying who he is, just that he wears hypno glasses. They make his face terrific. How do they work? They make his face look different in your brain when he wears them so that you know who he is.
Yes, I know this.
So you know he's Clark Kent.
Why does he trust everyone?